I think the first games that I played were on DOS. I mostly grew up playing console games, but I somehow remember playing MS Gorillas, this gorilla like banana throwing game. It was 1v1, and you input the velocity of your throw and the angle of your throw, and then the gorilla would throw a banana and it would explode. These gorillas were on top of buildings, and but yeah, there's this, and then but like my first like sort of more personal experience was with the NES. Got that for one very lucky Christmas when I was like, I think probably 7, maybe 8 years old. So of course, like the original Mario Bros, it's a very common story. But yeah, it was Mario. This was in Australia. I think the NES that I got was a Mattel one because it was licensed to Mattel in Australia, and they had special Mattel versions of games. So my parents had to get my NES cracked when we moved back to Finland. Final Fantasy VII is the one that I think most people will mention. The first game I played on the PlayStation 1 was this robot fighting game. It's still back there on the shelf, called like Rise to Revenge. I'm sure if we dug it up, it would be over there. But like, I mean, I liked it at a time. It was super difficult. Like I don't know if I was even able to get past the first screen, luckily, or like the first enemy. And luckily there were a lot of like demo discs, so that was a big thing. Then I think I kind of fell off for quite a while, or I played PS1 for a long time. Then eventually got back into games with the PS2, but only with like the slim model. And eventually, like I think after Xbox 360, I started going back to like collect old consoles, and so I didn't actually grow up with Mega Drive or N64 or Super NES, but I got them afterwards. It's been fun looking back at what still works and what still holds up and what doesn't so much. I think it depends on the role. Like usually with game designer or level design roles, or anybody working very much in like the core team, you're expected to play a lot of games of the type that you're making. Like if you're into puzzle games, if you're gonna go work in puzzle games, you should be playing a lot of puzzle games, or like know what's happening. I'm currently working at Rovio on a puzzle game called Sugar Blast. It's a smallish team within the company. It's a game based on another one of our games, Dream Blast, and we were looking to take this unique gameplay that we have in Dream Blast to a different audience with a different set of characters and a different look and feel to the game. A big part of what we're doing with the game is giving our own spin on the game and coming up with different events and different things to do for players, different fun ways to engage with the game. I think for as long as I've played games, I've had the notion that this would be something that would be really fun to do. I remember like I'd say probably like Final Fantasy VII is a good example where the music for me was really impactful, and I was interested in playing guitar and making music, and I thought like, oh, this would be really fun to do, but I had no idea how to get into games or how games were made, or like they were just things that kind of spawned out of nowhere, and like and I didn't kind of fathom that there's this kind of huge industry, like people working to bring these games to life. Eventually applied to this program called GamePro, which I thankfully got into. Basically, it's like an internship program where you have a few days of studying over the course of several months. I think at the time it was 9, and at the same time you go and you'll work at a company doing whatever your field happens to be. And for me, that was QA. Like QA at Rovio was where I got my start. But even before that, I'd say that around 2012, I started going to Indie Beer and IGDA to start like getting to know people and making connections, and that also helped out a lot into getting into the right mindset and like getting to know who works in the games industry, what kind of jobs they do. Anything you're getting into, it's going to take some time to find where your specialties are and what you're really interested in. And for me, I was very interested in watching numbers go up. So I was discovering that I really like meta design, and got a chance to design an achievement system for the game we were working on, which was really exciting. Thankfully, I was given the opportunity to make a kind of career switch from level design to game design.